Okay, let's dive right in. We spend our whole lives trying to learn more, right? To remember more, to accumulate all these facts. But what if, and this is the big idea today, what if the secret to being smarter isn't about what you remember, but about what you're willing to forget? Yeah, every decision is made inside a decaying memory. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. It's a little unsettling, isn't it? The idea that the very foundation of our choices, all that knowledge we think is so solid, is actually like constantly and quietly eroding right under our feet. Okay, so let's make this real for a second. You remember that old food pyramid from school? You know, the one with that giant base of bread and pasta? Well, guess what? That fact has been completely thrown out. It's done. So what if a core business strategy you trust, or I don't know, a piece of medical advice you've held onto is already past its sell-by date? This isn't just some philosophical question. It has massive real-world implications. So to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to understand why this decay even happens. And the answer, well, it lies in this really powerful concept known as the half-life of information. It's not some static thing. It literally has a half-life. Just like a radioactive element that loses its energy over time, information loses its accuracy. It's not this stable, permanent thing we can just grab and store away forever. No, it's alive, which also means it can decay. And this decay isn't just some vague idea either. We can actually measure it. The information half-life, that's the ticking clock. It's the time it takes for a fact to be only half as true or useful as it was when you first learned it. And think about it. For some things like, say, the laws of thermodynamics, that half-life might be centuries. But for other stuff, like the best way to run a digital marketing campaign, that half-life could be a couple of years, maybe even just a few months. So what's causing all this decay? Well, the source material breaks it down into three main culprits. First up, context shifts. A medical treatment that was a total game changer in the 80s might be considered dangerous by today's standards. The fact itself didn't change, but the world around it did. Second, our sources evolve. We just get better data, New discoveries are made. And third, our models drift. The very frameworks we use to understand the world get updated. And this quote just nails it perfectly. What was true yesterday may be irrelevant tomorrow because the world changed faster than the data set. See, it's not that our old information was wrong. It was just a snapshot, a picture taken in a world that absolutely refused to stand still. The ground shifted under us, and our knowledge got left behind. Okay, so if information is always changing, then treating our knowledge like some dusty old encyclopedia on a shelf is, well, it's a recipe for disaster. We need a totally new model, a new way to see knowledge itself. The old way of thinking sees truth as a photograph. It's static, a single snapshot of a moment in time, frozen forever. But the new view, it treats truth like a movie. It's dynamic, it has a storyline. You could actually see how things have changed over time. It's versioned, it's traceable, and most importantly, it is alive and evolving. And when you start thinking this way, you begin to build what the source calls a temporal map of truth. And that word, temporal, that's the key. It's all about time. This isn't just a map of what is true right now, it's a map of what was true and the whole journey of how it became what it is today. So how do you build this map? Well, it's this continuous, active process. First, you record a fact. Then you validate it, check it against the best evidence you have. And then, and this is the most crucial part, you're constantly correcting and updating it. Every single correction isn't you admitting you were wrong. It's you adding a new, valuable layer to your map. Okay, so we update, we correct, we add all these new layers, but what do we do with the old, outdated ones? This is where we get to the most profound, the most counterintuitive idea in this whole explainer. Forgetting is not loss. It's evolution. Wow. Just let that one sit for a minute. We're all conditioned to think of forgetting as a weakness, right? A glitch in our mental software. But this one sentence just reframes everything. Forgetting isn't a bug. It's a feature. It's literally the mechanism of evolution for our minds. And here's the critical point. We're not talking about just random memory loss here. We're talking about precise forgetting. It's this active, intentional process of finding and ditching outdated information to make room for something better. A great quarterback doesn't remember every single play they've ever run. No, they forget the ones that don't work so they can internalize the patterns that do. It's like mental spring cleaning, and it's absolutely essential if you want to adapt to a changing world. And this all leads us to a really challenging idea. If precise forgetting is this important, then it forces us to completely rethink what it even means to be intelligent in the first place.
I love this quote. Intelligence isn't defined by how much it remembers, it's defined by how precisely it forgets. For generations, we've basically equated intelligence with memory. The person who can recall the most dates and facts and figures, they're the smart one. This quote just flips that entire definition right on its head. True intelligence isn't about the size of your hard drive, it's about the efficiency of your delete key.
And this applies to everything, to us as individuals, to entire organizations, and yeah, even to artificial intelligence. The future doesn't belong to the data hoarders. It belongs to the systems, both human and machine, that are masters of pruning away the irrelevant stuff so they can focus on what truly matters now. And so, we end with this question for you. Think of it as a call to action. Take a good, hard look at your own mental map. What old beliefs, what outdated facts, what expired assumptions are just cluttering it up? What are you holding on to that is no longer serving you? Because, just maybe, the path to getting smarter doesn't start with learning something new. Maybe it starts with having the courage to forget.